Hello, everyone. This is Enlightened Living with Truth and Oneness discussions with a Scorpio and an Aquarius. And basically, a channel where we just talk about whatever we think is interesting and kind of give our opinions about things and whatever things we find interesting. So, today we're going to talk about polyamory and like polygamous relationships. I know we've talked about it before in like a previous video, but it's like I feel like I want to talk about it some more. um, and just quickly, I know there's a lot of like nutty stuff going on in the world right now, and we just did a video on a lot of that. The riots and stuff that are happening right now. And it's like we know that it's what do you call it? Distraction, mass distraction for distract people from conscious evolution. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at all this stuff. Don't get too distracted by it. Don't basically, it's fake. I've seen like a lot of people. Cause I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more than I wanted to. A lot of people like get really like drawn into this, and I see why. I mean, everyone, you see how people got drawn into the whole virus thing too, and it's like, just detach from it, okay? Like, don't attach yourself to this like distractive like energy, okay? Or try not to. But anyway, so a lot of people are expecting people. You should say something about it. What do you think? What are your thoughts about all this turmoil? It's like it's not my thoughts. If we want to give our thoughts on it, it's like
You don't
just
think about it.
yeah, it's not worth. It's not. Well, we talked about it, I think, enough in our last video, so whatever. I'm not talking about it again here. Anyway, moving on. So, what would you like to start with our topic today?
All right, so polyandry and polygamy,
Polyamory.
polyamory. What I've noticed, for the most part, like it comes down to the guy's basic level. All they're doing is trying to develop a harem, and they're trying to breed. Like that's literally like the extent of it. And they're like using whatever they can to kind of trick women. At least this is my opinion. Trick women using like God or like being enlightened or free or whatever. They're using whatever words that sound good to kind of have as many babies as possible or like just sleep around without any responsibility.
So, you're saying that ladies are dumb enough to fall for guys tricking them into being in a group relationship or whatever?
I don't think they're dumb enough to fall for it. I think there's just some that are, because it's like for the mass group of people, it's like that is not like what people would just go for. There's just some. That's why they have to like seek it out. Like, oh, who's into open relationships? Who's into having sister wives? Because the rest of people are gonna be like, no.
So, can I assume then you're not really for polyamorous or polygamous style relationships?
I would say I definitely am not, because like when I was young, like 15, after puberty, and then you start to get those urges, those primal urges to like have offspring. But the thing is, like, obviously you don't act on that because you're like raised to be a good person. Like, because obviously it's like if you're a good-looking person, like you can just impregnate a bunch of people and like just walk away, or like, and just be like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's why they have obviously child support laws and whatnot like that. But even those, it's hard sometimes for people to actually get those. But it's like, yeah, I can see where these dudes are coming from, but they have a lot of growth that they have to work through, because most of them, it's like they just want to just do what they want when they want, and have people just kind of just deal with it.
So, you're saying that they never left the puberty phase
Yeah, pretty much.
growth? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I was like, I guess as I was growing up, I mean, may had a minute where I was like, maybe kind of be nice to be in like an orgy or something. I don't know. But like, I like consciously would never do that because that's just not the type of person I am. So I know a lot of people like to use the argument that, well, humans are naturally, polyamorous and, monogamy. No, humans are not meant to mate with the same person for life. It's like that is totally individual, like totally individual. Besides the quick minute that I thought about like sleeping around, I've never slept around. I've always like had it in my mind that I don't need to do that. That's not like a big desire. I mean, I can see how it'd be exciting and like maybe fun, to like sleep around with different people or whatever. But on a this physical plane level, like I don't have any like real like desire to do that, and I'm perfectly fine with being with one person. So, except for the times when I want to think about sleeping with other people. But the thing is, like, I don't want to do like my like higher conscious. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it's not something that I would ever really want to do. When you think about fantasy stuff, you can go like, okay, my fantasy for today is to go eat like a whole truckload of ice cream. Oh, that's so good. Oh, imagine how wonderful that would be. It's kind of the same with that. My fantasy today is to go sleep around. Oh, that'd be so awesome. It's like, that doesn't mean you have to go do it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, and then people like the people that are into that kind of stuff more, like more of the polyamory people are like, well, yeah, people were never meant to be monogamous. It's like that's totally individual. And then there's the polygamy people that are they go about it from the spiritual aspect of it. And from my perspective, I've been looking at a lot of, I know that most of the people that I've been looking at be either been on TV or on YouTube. I don't know any people personally who are polyamorous or polygamous, but at least the polygamy style people that I've seen on TV, like, I don't know, it's just none of them ever seem like they're actually truly like happy. They seem like they might be kind of happy, or they're like delusional, or something's going on there with them. They like talk themselves into. Most of the time, the dudes are for the most part content, except for when they realize that they've bitten off more than they can chew. I guess I don't know. For the most part, I mean, they're not like truly happy. So it's like, well, I mean, so is it the natural state of the human mind to be in a state where they're not truly happy and they just work on it, their whole life? Or do you find what actually makes you happy truly and go with that? And I don't know. It's weird. And then like the polyamory stuff, like I don't know. You want to cut in here because I'm like losing my train of thought. Hold on.
But yeah, just like you were saying, like the dudes are pretty much content when they have that opportunity to have multiple partners until like if there's a kid that ends up popping up, then they're like, oh, if you take care of it, then I'm cool. But if I have to help, I'm not really into that. It's even the whole polygamy thing. It's like they just like getting as many babies as possible. It's like, but
It's
you
not
notice,
responsibility
yeah,
to take care of them for the most part.
yeah, the wives are the ones that do all the work. Like they're just like, well, I make money. It's like, okay, but some of the wives usually make money too. So it's like, what's your excuse now? It's like they just like dudes just want to like if you told a dude that you can just here's a bunch of women and you can sleep with them, and if babies pop up, cool, you don't have to take care of them, they would be like, great. But if you told a lady that there's all these dudes, they want to sleep with you, they might get you pregnant, and if they do, they're not gonna help you take care of it. They'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
What if they did help take care of them though?
I mean, there's a chance that they would actually, because there's some ladies that kind of like that thing, but most of them don't. They're like, well, I'm kind of looking for a partner. I don't want just a bunch of people just like, trying to impregnate me all the time. It's like it's like, at least to me, it's like I don't see like how a lady would actually like be welcoming of something like that. Like they're like, okay, so it's like these dudes are just gonna keep trying to impregnate me or like just sleep with me all the time, and they might help, they might not. Like the lady like will ultimately have the kid.
Well, so to you, it's always comes back to this responsibility of having children. So if you completely took children out of the equation, then like, what do you think about polyamory and polygamy?
And that is why we get women that actually buy into this kind of thing. Because like you do the whole birth control, it's like take away some of the responsibility of actually being an adult and actually like making choices, and just like then all of a sudden now some women are actually into it. They're like, oh, that's great, so now I don't have a chance of getting pregnant because I'm like taking it's like, but it's like if it goes back to that whole childlike mind, it's like you're just like removing yourself from a situation where it's like actually choices are kind of important or like a part of being an adult.
I'm not sure exactly where you're going with this, but I'm gonna bring in The whole like new agey like people that talk about it a lot because they are all like into they justify it by saying that free love, we're naturally human to make connection with other humans and pass love along freely between us humans. And I think sure, that's fine and whatever, but I think you're like misinterpreting like what love is. When we say, yeah, we are supposed to be, we're all, there's like a oneness part of this. We're all, passing, not restricting love from each other, sure, loving each other, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean we have to do each other, get the dirty on, you know what I mean? That's not what that means, at least in the way I see it. That doesn't mean that at all. It's like, you can be friendly with people, nice and, be open with people, but I feel like it crosses a certain line when you start putting the sexual part into it, to me at least, and to me that doesn't translate to the same thing at all to me, like at all. Um, the whole when you start doing that, that to me just brings it to the level of I have these urges that I need to fill. I
Yeah.
think you're attractive, and I feel so much love for you. So let's do it. Let's bring it to that level, and it's just like you don't have any self restraint at all. I mean, then they'll argue, well, we're not meant to. We're supposed to be like free and open and blah 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 with each other. I'm like, go ahead.
That's funny when you think about it like that, because that'd be like, okay, you're in a village, and as the village whole, you collected so many berries and nuts for the winter, but you're like, because I'm free, you go and eat all of it in like the first week, and everybody's like, well, where's the cachet? You're like, but I'm free. I'm a free spirit. I ate it all because I was hungry, and
I let my urges loose and like
and now we
fulfilled
all
my needs
suffer.
of wanting to like satisfy my urges, right? But yeah, so from that perspective, it just seems like really like you're just being like childish and like yeah, I don't know. For me, the whole sexual part of it becomes gets to a different level of like sacredness and spirituality, to where like that's something that you need to keep sort of protected or not guarded but protected, used wisely. There you go. You don't just spread that kind of stuff, that kind of energy around. You leave yourself open to be like absorb other people's energy on like a whole different level, and you're putting your energy out, on a completely different level. It's different than just like giving someone a hug or, cooking dinner for someone or whatever, your free love could be, Basically, what I'm saying is your free love does not have to translate to having sex with everybody, okay? It doesn't, all right? And I don't think it should. I really don't. I feel like that, like I said, doing it is like a sacred act, at least in my mind. I know it's not that way for everyone, blah, 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 but yeah, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I like really like there's something wrong with these. Not wrong, but it's like every polyamorous situation I've looked at for the most part, and I like I said, I don't know anyone personally who's into all that, but it's like they're it's almost like okay, so yeah, you're this person who has somehow talked yourself okay because you like sleeping around, you don't want to commit, and then you find someone you want to like kind of be with more regularly, and then that person starts sleeping around, and then all these issues of jealousy start to come up, and you have to overcome jealousy because that's not like a normal, that's like not a, that shows that you're some sort of an anomaly and you're like a low on the human evolution scale if you show jealousy. So you have to overcome that, and then you know and then then they just look depressed after that. There's like all of them are just like so super depressed, and they have to go sleep around with other people to like fill that like wound of jealousy or something. But they've healed themselves, and then they have to talk about how you know the whole so that, yeah, this they just use a lot of strange language too. Like connecting, what resonates with them, and like I don't know. It's just I feel like they're delusional. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it just feels like that they're really just trying to talk themselves into doing something that on a core level it doesn't really feel right. On the basic level, like the lower chakra level, yeah, of course it maybe feels right. You can go do whatever you want and fulfill those basic like physical needs, but on a higher up level, you kind of have to I can we look at these people and see where they're trying to like literally like kind of talk themselves into saying this is an okay way to do things. You know, I think I saw this one couple recently who's like, I'm not naming any names here, by the way, but um, well, there's a couple. There's a man and a woman, and the woman brings in a new woman to have like I guess regular affairs with or whatever. But then, of course, they besides the new woman, new woman is more I guess monogamous, I guess, or she wants to be more monogamous. But the other two still sleep around and they sleep with each other and stuff. But she was saying in a recent thing how she had to overcome the fact that she wanted to be with this person. This person sleeps around. She is really into more of the monogamous style relationship, and so she's had to, overcome her issues with, jealousy and just be really okay with her partner being their full self, and experimenting and connecting with all these other people. And they realize that they're actually really happy seeing their partner be, the best that they can be, sleeping around with other people. And it's like listening to them, it just sounds like so basically, yeah, you just literally, yeah, you got into a relationship and now you're like, I have to figure out how to just be okay with my partner cheating on me all the time, but whatever. I don't know.
That's pretty funny. It's like, yeah, I really like this person, and I realize that they're kind of nuts, so I have to figure out how to enjoy them being nuts. It's like, okay, okay.
But even like the people that do also sleep around themselves, they
Yeah.
they have issues of jealousy and too much attachment and like I don't know. It's just the whole thing is just really weird. It's just it's strange, and I don't think because here's the thing. I think society as a whole is moving toward more like back toward really like group style like small communities where people are actually supporting each other and like what some of these polyamory people are trying, especially with polyamory people, are trying to like be like, well, yeah, this is yeah, we need to be more like in tribes and stuff, and like this is how we do it. It's like, no, you don't have to be in like supportive small groups and sleep around with everybody. You can be in like, what's wrong with like just couples, you know,
Or small families.
small families or extended families that get together with their families, and that be a small community, or people that are couples and friends or whatever that know each other, they get together and be a small community. You don't have to like sleep around with everybody to make a community of people that support each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they literally it's like that whole free love thing is just kind of silly because it's like obviously like their true connection is with the other person, and that's why the whole jealousy even comes up. It's like, oh wait, they're spreading some of that love that I thought it was like with me and them to someone else. Okay, I have to get past that, and I'll just go do that with somebody else. And then the other person looks at you and be like, oh, that connection that we had between me and you, you're doing with somebody else. So it's like you're not even really giving true love or true connection to somebody because you start to break it because you start to like cause conflict just because you want to feel good. Like that's
And yeah, it's like a constant like cycle of like getting broken or like hurt and then doing something else to fill that gap. It's usually sleeping with someone else. Or maybe these people actually sit down and be like, oh, I got hurt and I'm jealous now. So they sit down and like completely come back to a whole person and then they go around and sleep out. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
you have to mentally convince yourself that that's a good thing in the first like okay well
That's what they've done.
we're enlightened beings so this is what we do. It's like obviously there's a lot more to it than that because it's like if you constantly have to like keep coming back to this, that means it's a cycle that you're supposed to break, not something that you just kind of just deal with.
Yeah, you don't continue. It's like an abusive relationship. You don't just keep going back to it and enduring it and being like, okay, I need to overcome. I need to overcome this. The fear that I have for this person now. I need to, so I need to be able to endure like the blows. Like, so no, you get out of that situation. You move to something where you're not constantly having to like address these like issues, right?
Yeah.
At least I would think so. I don't know, but yeah, I think that like yeah, I think humanity is moving toward more of like the smaller communities of family communities that are actually supporting each other. And I just want to make it very clear that no, people don't have to sleep. And I think normal people, normal quote, normal people wouldn't normally just like sleep around for that. But I feel like these people that are polyamorous are really trying to promote that's the way to do it. You have to like have a sexual relationship with all the adults that are around. I don't know. It's just weird. I used to be a lot more lenient with polyamory type style people. I used to be like, yeah, people are into that, whatever, they can do what they want. The more this on YouTube and then there's shows about it, I've kind of like watched it more and been like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem quite right. Like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, I mean, I guess they could be happy, but they don't look very happy or content or anything. They look like they're like literally in denial, and they are, yeah, trying to like, you know, make the situation better than it is. I don't know. Anyway, it's just weird. It's interesting things, and then like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You have anything else to add to that?
Just pretty much like just there's always new age things that people like to try to like bring in free love, blah 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 blah
But
blah.
the thing is, there's always been like polyamory and that kind of stuff. It seems like I'm pretty sure throughout human history and whatnot. But that doesn't mean that that's supposed to be what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? There's always been murder and stuff throughout human history
Yeah.
and whatnot, and rape and stuff. I mean, that's like our norm, you know. So let's like think about that kind of stuff, you guys. It's
It's like responsibility.
about taking responsibility for,
Yourself and others.
yeah. And I just want to bring up the whole like people, they like bringing up a lot of like how it's like supposed to be like a primal need that you need to fill or whatever.
And how's that enlightened, right?
Well, it's like that's like the basic level of like, how's that a good thing? You're like lowering yourself down to like the lowest consciousness of like being in your human form, you know, the lowest possible if you just, you know, fulfill your primal needs. And like they say, like it's a good thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
like it's so primal, you know. We're like fulfilling our primal needs, you know, connecting, and you know. I'm like, okay.
That's funny when you
How is
think
this a
about it.
good thing?
It's like, okay, so you have to go all the way to the lowest of the low of the biological like urge, and that is how you somehow connect at the highest level, being
Yeah,
enlightened. Like that doesn't make any sense.
yeah. It's like you're constantly, yeah. It's just it's weird. It's like almost like they're just like little children and or something. I mean, not like children, but like you have to fulfill every little like. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a part of being an adult that comes into play here, in which you learn to that you don't have to fulfill every single need that comes an urge that comes up in your body or mind. You know, self restraint is part of being an adult. Channeling your energy into like higher like uh, perspectives or higher like what do you call it um things to do. There you go.
Well,
Higher things to do.
that's the thing that makes it really funny too, because how they word things. They say like doing it and stuff like that is a need. You don't need to do any of that. That's what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like how a child thinks. It's like a need is something like, okay, I need to get out of this rain because I'm getting soaked, or it's like really cold outside. I'm gonna freeze. That is a
Well,
need to like feel something like,
well,
but
that's
you,
a real need, is what you're saying?
yeah, a real
Okay.
need. Because like
Okay.
a want is like, okay, I'd love to bone that person right there. I want to do that. Do I need to do that? Because if I don't do that, I'm gonna die. Absolutely not. But they make it seem like these things are like these are needs. You know, I need to connect with that person. It's like, no, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, grow up. Grow up.
I think that's probably the message of the moral of the story is that as far as because I know the polygamous style of relationships are a little bit different than like the polyamory style ones. The polyamory, for the most part, yeah, I think that's a good. They kind of just, I feel like they just need to grow up,
I think
be
even
more adult, and
because even the polygamous ones, like the guy needs to grow up. Because it's
the
like,
women need to wake up.
yeah, and the women need to wake up. Because like the guy like literally is just doing what he wants to do, and the ladies are convinced like through God or whatever that this is what they should be doing because like they're raised that way or like they bought into it or whatever. And the guy is always like the one that has to constantly like reiterate like, no 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 no, remember God, our religion, this is what we do, this is who we are. All right, so whose turn is it?
Pretty much, right? Yeah, and then I feel like I want to say a few more things here to summarize. Yeah, grow up, wake up, and it's fine to be a grown up. It's okay to be a grown up and be responsible. It's not like you're getting rid of your childlike, essence, or like your soul's like whatever expression. Like, no, you can keep those things, but do it in a more matured, like refined, evolved fashion, if you know what I mean, Um, yeah, I mean, just stop being a horror. I mean, I don't know, stop sleeping. Anyway, yeah, it was. I mean, the main thing, like I said, I just see a lot of this whole polyamory stuff, like kind of going around, and people thinking that this is like just the thing to do to be more like new age and open and like going against the grain and all this stuff. It's like I feel like they're doing damage to something, and I don't really can't put my finger on it quite yet exactly. I will, maybe we covered it in our discussion, but it's like anyone who feels like they need to be new agey or against the grain, like you don't have to sleep around to do that, and I don't think that that's the way to go. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is like you need to kind of grow up because it's like really when it comes down to it, it's like if you continue this life, that's like kids really want. They feel like they need to like, all right, I'm gonna ride my bike really fast down this hill and do a jump. Okay, if you're 70 years old, do you really think it'd be like appropriate for you to be like, I'm gonna ride down this hill really fast and go off that jump?
But now you're saying the 7-year olds can't do that kind of stuff, though. Would they need to be in their rocker chair, like eating porridge or something, and putting their dentures in a bottle to like? What are you? Wait, what are you saying here?
No, it's like an adult person would be like, that's probably not a good idea. And there's other things I do know and I enjoy that I can go and do instead. Like, hey, you know what? I can go just ride my bike. I don't need to like go jump that hill down there. Like I have no idea what's on the other side, how far I'm gonna go, how far I'm gonna like kids, they think in the immediate, they don't think about like what would happen after. They're like, this is gonna be great, and then they're in the air, they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna crash. An adult could be like, yeah, I'm gonna probably go really far and crash over there, so I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna continue enjoying riding my bike.
Wait a minute, but then would you say, sorry, it's going into a different discussion. So when would you say that people should not live in the moment then? Because isn't that what we are supposed to be kind of doing, is living in the moment and enjoying the present and not trying to evaluate the future too much? Being way too cautious because we may be limiting our experiences.
Yeah, let's go ahead and eat all those fruit and berries and nuts because we want to at the moment and not really prepare for the winter, right?
But then, like, is that saying anything about like being able to like use your power outside the physical body to like prepare? You could eat all those berries, and then like you have manifested, though, the next week you find a whole nother cache of berries. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's like then you have to go out looking for the stuff instead of actually just enjoying what you already have.
But what if like
Because then it's like then you're always constantly gonna be looking to fill constantly instead of like you're like okay I got the what I was trying to do because I cultivated I created it. It's like then you're like I don't know. It's like being an adult. You come with that's why you're able to think through things.
I guess
Instead of just like just doing things right when you want to do it because it's like there's like well it's like that's it's like oh I'm a kid I'm gonna just go bone 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 wait kids wait babies happened wait why this but like an adult can be like hey if I ejaculate in this woman and she's during her cycle this
But what
at the
about
proper
like
time then she might have a
but what
baby.
if you could just use birth control?
Yes. That's like growing food with a greenhouse during the winter. It's like that's because an adult can think like that. Kid would just be like, "I'm gonna eat all this because it's delicious," and they're like, "I have no more food. I can go find some." But it's like if you actually plan, then you're like, "Oh, I have all this great food like coming that's growing because I prepared and like now I can really enjoy a lot of things instead of just like
So
hopefully I find
does it
something."
come back to just being like you can live in the present moment and enjoy the present moment, being like just being responsible though
Yeah.
for like the energies and like consciousness of everything that's around and you and everything, maybe something along those lines. I
Yes.
don't know.
Well, it's like an adult. It's like you have a child. Would it be appropriate? Like obviously, getting drunk would be really fun, and then passing out. But like as an adult, you'd be like, well, maybe I
So
should drink a
it's just
little. It's like
you're talking about
responsibility and
responsibility
actually being
then.
able
Okay.
to like think about like
Don't be
the
irresponsible
situation. Yeah.
and sleeping around as an adult, especially. And even you can justify it anyway or whatever you're religious or whatever. It's a little bit bordering on the irresponsible. The thing is, like, I don't know. Are we? Is it wrong to call these people irresponsible? They're being irresponsible with their energy and stuff. I feel like though. I don't know.
Well,
And
I
other
think it's
people's
irresponsible to
energy.
try to tell other people that it's normal, to justify their way of life that they chose. That jealousy and irritation and like constantly trying to like fulfill their quote unquote needs like constantly. Otherwise, they feel like they left out on something like that. I would say it's irresponsible.
So then, is it irresponsible for a monogamous person to try to say that their lifestyle is normal?
I would say you should pick whatever works for you with it. But it's like if a not monogamous one ends up creating less like stress and things you have to constantly like worry about, then absolutely it wouldn't be considered irresponsible.
No, I
It's a
guess
choice as an adult that's like you actually are like, oh wait, I have someone that I can rely on. That's how
my
you work.
partner.
That's how you develop a community. It's like you know you can trust them because you trust them with yourself also. Instead of being like, well, this person's always gonna be doing something. Who knows what they're gonna be doing? Someone else, whenever they might be here, they might not. I guess we'll see because their need to be met. So it's like I can't really trust them with anything because they might just disappear and then come back like who knows when their need is met.
So then, is the higher evolution not relying on other people to be there for you when they say they're going to be there for you and allowing people to go and meet their needs as they need to? And is that the higher evolved or the higher conscious form of being a human?
If that was the case, we would not be able to speak because then there'd be no point in having. You wouldn't need to have anyone around at all because then you'd just be by yourself and you'd be completely satisfied.
It's very okay. It's kind of interesting. So, okay. All right, sure.
For now,
For now, right.
we'll readdress these interesting topics another time.
Yeah.
Anything like to add to this one?
I think that's all. I think we rambled on enough
Yeah.
about this.
We like to ramble sometimes, but you know, why not?
Yeah.